Hey guys, welcome to a Bibliophobe. Seth here with a very late September through November wrap-up and a mid-December, we'll say, to be read. So, hope you enjoy. Alright, so I got through quite a few audiobooks through Audible September through November, thankfully. Had it not been for Audible, I wouldn't have gotten through nearly as many. I did read the Ascendance trilogy by Jennifer Nielsen. So that was The Shadow Throne, The Runaway King, The False Prince. I would recommend those to anybody. They were supposed to be kind of like, it's not even really middle grade, it's more like 11 through 14, like a preteen, early teen book read, but the plot is really fantastic. I thought it was great. I recommend them to everybody that I meet who like books. It's a historical fiction, but it's completely fantasy. So I don't really know how to classify it, but it follows Sage. I might have done a review on this. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But it follows a young orphan Sage through his, not necessarily his quest, but a quest to take the throne. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, it's a really good read. I really like Jennifer Nielsen's writing. It is superb. Think fantasy combined with like Hardy Boys type writing. It's actually really fantastic, so I would definitely recommend that to anybody. I also finished book 1 in the Illuminae Files. That one I'm kind of on the edge on. I really liked the book itself. It was written in a completely different format than what I was expecting. It was not your typical first or even third person telling of a story. It is encoded transmissions, memorandums, intercepted transmissions between two people. So conversations people had. It just files, really. It's called the Illuminae Files, and that's what it is. It's a story told through files, and it's really a unique way. Almost, I would compare it to a journal writing, storytelling. It's really awesome. I really liked it. The only problem I had was the amount of language in it, which was almost inordinate, but it was alright. I dealt with it. I moved past it. So if you really like space operas, if you really like science fiction, I would recommend it. However, greatly cautioned because of the amount of language in it. It is like filtered, but you still know what they're saying. But anyway, I really like those. And then, of course, I finally got to the Circle trilogy by Ted Dekker, which the narrator was really good. I really like the narrator for these, Rob Lamont. And I would recommend the Circle trilogy to anybody. Those were fantastic. I had not quite imagined that they would be like they are. Definitely a very unique story. I really like the concept, though. That really, I don't know, I just really like them. So if I talk too much about it, I'm going to geek out, and you're really not going to get much from it. So just take it from the fact that I'm probably grading them all at least 4-star, if not 5. They were great. Ted Dekker is really fantastic at building characters. I wouldn't say very fast-paced, but it's consistent. You're not in really, really long, drawn-out periods where nothing happens. He does very well with world building. The world that he builds, he explains rather quickly while keeping you involved in the storyline. So that's really nice. I know some of the books that I've read, like the first 5 or 6 chapters are all world building. You're like, okay, can we get to the main plot? Like, this world is awesome that you're describing to me, but I would really like to get on with the plot. So, that's what I have in Audible books. And then I was finally able to, over Thanksgiving break, I read The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And I'm going to talk about this more in a later video that I'm going to do with Stephanie. I believe we are both going to do a review of this and The Giver. We read these at the same time and then swapped and read them. I am a huge fan of both of these. I think Lois Lowry did a fantastic job with The Giver. And Neil Gaiman, I don't even know how to describe the writing. I mean, It would be nice if Neil Gaiman could just write all our conversations. I think the world would go, you know, much smoother, because he is fantastic with words. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and read you my favorite quote from this book. "Oh, monsters are scared," said Letty. "That's why they're monsters. And as for grown-ups," she stopped talking, rubbed her freckled nose with a finger. Then, "I'm going to tell you something important. Grown-ups don't look like grown-ups on the inside either. Outside, they're big and thoughtless, and they always know what they're doing. Inside, they look just like they always have, like they did when they were your age. The truth is, there aren't any grown-ups. No one in the whole wide world." That, I think, is one of the truest statements that I have ever read in a book. But this is just a fantastic story of childhood and imagination. You know, how the world seemed to you sometimes, you know, when you were 8 or 9. He also doesn't name his protagonist. Who gets away with that? He just doesn't have a name. It's a boy. I mean, it's actually a man who goes back to his childhood home, but fantastic. Highly recommended. I had so many people after me to read this book, and now I understand why. But anyway, and then yes, of course, The Giver was one I finished the first week of December, because these books were actually ones I was able to get through on the last week of school, surprisingly, with exams. This was also a great read. Lois Lowry, starting out, it's a good description of the world that they live in, but she waits until a little bit into the story to tell you what's really missing, and I think that's pretty fantastic. Crafted the story and made everything look really perfect in the beginning, and then as you went on, you started seeing the cracks and the flaws and things. And it's a beautiful blending of dystopia and utopia. Definitely recommend it. And apparently it's a series, which I did not know either. The second one is Gathering Blue, so I'm going to have to get that one. But there's another one right after that. There's a third book. And a fourth book. I think the fourth book is called Sun, but I forget the name of the third book. But anyway, good ones here that I would recommend to anybody. I'm kind of combining my TBR and my wrap-up because my December books, like The Giver, I have already read, as well as The Burning Sky by Sherry Thomas. So this is kind of like a to be read, but I've already done it because I waited until this third week of December to make this video. But I really like this book. It's I think it would be classified as low fantasy because it is not in a completely different world. It's mage realm as well as non-mage realms. So they have interactions between London, England, the surrounding area, and the mage realm that they live in called the Domain. What I really liked about this book is even though the main character is female, I was really able to connect to that character, and I found sometimes that's difficult with some of the female protagonists. They tend to be annoying, but that could simply be because of the books that I've chosen to read for fantasy. I might not have picked the best authors, but Sherry Thomas did a great job. And what's nice is you have really two main characters, two protagonists, male and female, and I really think that provides a balance that you don't always have. And I didn't realize starting out that it was going to have some romance in it, which I don't always care for. But the way Sherry Thomas did this was fantastic, I think. It wasn't so girly and emotional. It was more real world. The best way, I guess, to describe it is it's not the fairy tale kind of romance, like love at first sight, even though there's the attraction, of course. The two characters struggle with each other between, like, she dislikes him, but she cares about him. It gives a depth to the romance story that isn't always there in the high fantasies that I've read. But again, it's probably just because I read the wrong ones. But this is a trilogy, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. Perilous Waters, I think, is the next one. Sherry Thomas just does a really good job. I mean, that's all there is to say, really. She has beautiful adjectives. great vocabulary in this book. It's hard to find authors who are both amazing at dialogue and then also at your descriptors and being really concise with language, and I think that's really important because especially with feelings, she doesn't just use general terms like love and affection. She describes how they would physically feel. So that is nice because you can almost feel it with the character. You know, you can say, okay, I know what she's feeling, I know what he's feeling, and it gives you a better connection with the characters. And so I really appreciate that. I just really like the vocabulary in this book, and she has what I thought was cool. She's got like footnotes. So, you know, she'll say something about mages and then put a footnote, and then in the back of the book, you know, it's got like, I don't know if you can see, like here, to the domain classification. So, I mean, she's got like, almost as if doing research, footnoted it. I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool, so I read through some of those. So then my actual to-be-reads for December, and this is also going to take in like the first part of January as well, because my break extends to January. So one that I haven't read and that I really needed to, I should have read a while ago, but I haven't. Trying to take the sticker out of it, is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I haven't watched the movie. Generally when I know that there's a book, I try to read the book before I watch the movie. And sometimes that means I don't watch the movie until like 2 years after it's put out, but I'm fine with that. Rain. Lovely December weather we're having. 56 degrees today. No snow. Odd. But anyway, yeah, so that's on the plan. Hopefully I'll get through it. Then I have Terms of Enlistment, which I believe, yeah, this was in the very long video we did for unboxing. I'm going to try to get through this. I think this is actually the next one I'm going to read. So I'm excited about this. It's supposed to be a space opera, science fiction. And I just really love a good space opera. Like when the author really put a lot of thought into it, put a lot of research in it, and just really built almost a foolproof plot. And I'm hoping that this is all that I hope it's going to be. Then I have our Falling Kingdoms book, also in the unboxing. I would like to get through that this week. I was able to get through Sherry Thomas's book in like a week. I would have read it faster, but I had stuff that I had to do. So, I mean, you know, that was 400 some pages. And all of these are like 390, 400. So, hopefully that will happen. I'm not going to say that it is. I want it to. But with the holidays coming up and all the stuff that is going on, you know, no promises. But hopefully we'll get there. Yeah, this is 334. So, I should be able to. And then one that I picked up just today that is going to be in our book haul later is a historical fiction retelling. And I skimmed through it just a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it is set in the triumvirate era of Rome, in the Republic, when you had Pompey and Julius Caesar. But it is called Conspirata. I guess I'm going to have to... It sounds ridiculous. But anyway, it's a novel of ancient Rome, and late Republic is one of my favorite time periods, along with early Empire up until about 114 AD. is some of my favorite periods of history of Rome. So I think this book is going to be fantastic. On the eve of Marcus Cicero's, Cicero inauguration as Council of Rome, the grisly death of a boy sends ripples of fear through a city already racked by civil unrest. Yeah, because at this time, Rome was being torn apart from the inside out. So I'm really looking forward to this read. It's by Robert Harris, and I don't think I've ever read anything by him before. So that will be interesting, I think. So I'm pretty excited about my TBR lineup. We'll see exactly what happens. But yeah, anyway, so thanks guys. That was my wrap-up and my December to be read. Hopefully I will be getting back to you with a December wrap-up. in which I will have all of these done. Then we can talk about what I thought about them, and you guys put in your thoughts if you've read them. We're a little behind, I know. I am anyway, on books, but that's alright. I'll catch up. So thanks guys, like, comment, and subscribe. We will try to answer any questions that you have, or any comments that you make, and stay tuned. Thanks.